In this video, we'll look at 3 common approaches to business process mapping using a simple fictional example of a distribution company. When mapping any process, it's good practice to include details of what the process relates to, when it was created, and when it was last updated, and who owns the process, or at least who made the latest version. It might also be useful to define who are the intended users of the process and what the process is expected to deliver. Let's start with a top-down process map. This is an ideal starting point when mapping business processes for the first time. It's an easy way to capture the main process elements and add detail as required. When mapping for the first time, it can help to use sticky notes so that steps can be added and reordered as needed. First, identify the key steps required to convert the inputs into outputs, and then below each process, identify the key activities that are required. The result is a simple high-level picture of your key processes. Once you're happy that you've captured enough detail, it's good practice to number each process and its subordinate steps. This will help you to manage and control your processes as they evolve. If more than one team or department is involved in a process, then a Swimlane Process Map will help to show which team is responsible for each of the process steps. For each of the teams that are involved, draw lines across the page or use different coloured sticky notes to create the lanes. Similar to the lines used in a swimming pool, the activities completed by each team are shown within their lane. The main advantage of a swim lane process is that it shows who does what, helping to clarify responsibilities for specific activities. It also helps to identify potential issues that will arise from failures in communication. When the line crosses a lane, there's an interface that needs to be managed. A RACI matrix can also be developed using the swim lane to help control the flow of information and communication. Linear process maps add a level of detail, such as decision points, which can also be useful when trying to identify important process control points and improvement opportunities. Let's say that we want to map the process for stock picking, number 4 in our example. By adopting a consistent approach to the flow of the process, it's possible to create a happy path that identifies the most efficient process route. This basically means that for each decision point, the question is worded so that a yes decision is always the desired result, and the yes arrow always points in the same direction. This might be down if using a portrait view, or right if using a landscape view. When using sticky notes, it's easy to show decision points by placing the note at an angle. Once completed, if we draw a line under the happy path, those activities above it are those process steps that directly add value to the output, whereas those steps below are likely to be non-standard operations where inefficiencies are most likely to be found. The linear process map can also be used to identify potential waste and appropriate control points that can be measured to ensure processes are working as intended. Once you've mapped your processes, create a detailed list to show which processes the organization has adopted, who owns the process so that suggestions for improvement can be made, and any key documents that are associated with that process. This will ensure that your processes are well managed and are more able to adapt and evolve to the changing requirements of the organization as it grows.